Good morning, everybody. Wednesday, hump day, happy hump day. As people roll in here live, I actually realized I started a few minutes early a little bit. I started that countdown a little bit. I was a little bit jumped the gun there. But that's okay. We'll let people roll in. It's almost 8 o'clock. Hopefully everybody's day is going well. If you're watching on the replay, as I always like to say, thank you. I actually get a few comments from people that can catch it on the replay, and it's appreciated. So if you are able to catch us live, it's Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Go to about 8:45. If you can't catch it live, you can always catch on the replay. And every view is a view, and every view is appreciated for the channel. It's channel's growing, actually. We'll might as well jump into that before we say good mornings as people roll in. Channel's growing. We're starting to get some new subscribers, so it looks like maybe there's a bit more interest in investing coming up. That's, I guess, always a good thing. I've noticed the subscribers kind of get a couple every day. So that's great. And if you're watching as a new subscriber, welcome. If you are new and watching the chat live, don't be afraid to say good morning. It's a good group of people here. We talk about our TFSAs. We talk about investing, all sorts of stuff. Answer your questions. If you have a question, fire it in the chat. If I can't answer or point you in the right direction, guaranteed someone will be able to help you out on the chat because we've got a great crew here, coffee crew, as we like to call them. And on that note, I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and then we'll say our good mornings. And there we go. Candace, always first. Good morning. Hopefully your day is going well. Today out here, Candace, it's going to be a bright, sunny day. I'm going to try and get out for a walk. It's a little bit chilly because it's clear, but it's finally clear and doesn't look like it's going to rain. We had drizzle kind of yesterday, so it's, I think, a nice day to hopefully get a chance to get outside, maybe at lunchtime or something like that. I'll go for a little walk around. So hopefully where you are, it is nice. I think you were buried in snow, if I remember correctly, earlier this week. If you're buried in snow still, just hang out at home. Always good. And we'll get to your joke after the good mornings. I was getting worried, Candace, because I didn't see a joke coming on, and I actually went to ChatGPT to get one, but you didn't disappoint. MC, good morning. And again, special with no icon there. I do not know why it's not you. Anyways, let's get your joke, Candace. Always love these. They're terrible, but they're good. Why was the average in anger management? When you bring two together, it can get mean. Mean average. That is terrible, but it's always good. I wonder if the creators of at OpenAI and ChatGPT were anticipating people using it to give them to create bad pun jokes and bad pun jokes about investing. I'm sure there's some crazy stuff that gets submitted into there. I think that's maybe one of them. They maybe weren't anticipating ChatGPT to be a joke generator, but there we go. I guess it is. And 2023, yeah, you know what, Candace, your numbers, yeah, if your numbers are up, that's awesome. I've kind of noticed that. I think more people kind of searching. I've noticed a few people kind of catching up on some of the past videos. Have kind of started to binge, people I think subscribing to. Typically, as everybody knows, I share mostly just portfolio updates. I will get one today because it's midweek Wednesday, so there will be one coming up for that. But yeah, I think that's a good sign. People getting, I guess it's always good if people are getting interested in investing, even if it's just starting out and learning. Trying to keep the channel, for the most part, videos fairly basic for people, and hopefully it helps out, gets people started. And I hope these live streams kind of get people on board to just start investing or continue investing. I actually had a comment yesterday on one of my past live streams. It was from, let me just pull up the comment because I'm, as always, I'm terrible with names. It was, who was it from? It was from Alan, and he's commented before on, but he's not able to make the streams because he's got hockey in the morning, but he said it's old timers hockey, and he is in his 70s. So it's not just young new investors joining the channel. He's in his 70s and says always something to learn. So that's awesome. It's nice to see a good demographic of people kind of joining and learning together. There's my spiel for the day. Stan, good morning. Good to have you here. Always good to have you here. Tuning in. And let's see, Candace, I have a little bit. Did I have an article? I had an article yesterday on Bard. I did a poll over on my community tab. You can check that out between kind of Google, Microsoft, who's going to win the AI. It'll be interesting. It's so far it's leading with Microsoft, OpenAI, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Google. I think we're going to really start to see. Google is, I think, a bit nervous, as we say. Oh, that's awesome, Paul. Good morning. This is always nice to hear. Everybody else, maybe put in the comments when you started kind of DIY investing. So Paul started in April 2020, and TD was his first purchase. So put up a comment. What was the first? What was the if you can remember, what was the first stock you bought? I'd have to look on mine, Paul. I think. Well, I started April 2021. I could actually go back to the video and look, but I can't remember. It might have been VDY. I think I kind of started into that right at the beginning, if I don't forget. And I know Telus was an early one as well for me. I'll have to double check that. But there we go. If you remember, I know the date. April. It was April. So you beat me by a year, Paul. But I started basically DIY in April 2021 on Wealthsimple, because I saw probably like a lot of people during that time, ads and ads and ads on. I had my other YouTube channel, and I keep seeing ads and ads and ads for Wealthsimple. I thought I should check this thing out, and that's how I kind of got started. And it was more, I first started with Wealthsimple on the invest side, because I had other investments with another group, and I could transfer them over there and pay less fees. That was the big thing. That's how I got kind of started up in Wealthsimple, April 2021. And picked up 148 in January. That's awesome. 39 for February. So you're sign of the times. Maybe the market, the bull market of subscribers is back. So that's good. I'd have to look. Let me just quickly look, Candace, where I am at with on the month. I am doing quite closer to actually getting some pennies from Google. That's always helps. These views always help. Under 200 hours, which is awesome. Bumped up quite a bit actually from people watching, which is great. How many subscribers did I get in January? I have to search here. January, 43. There we go. 43 in January, and in February so far 22. So that's good. It's up. It's telling me it's about 57% up. So there we go. All doing well. That's all good. That's all good. And Trevor, your portfolio is up this year so far. That's good. That's awesome. I mean, mine's getting there. Obviously, everybody can see what's happening with my TFSA. It's had a good start to the year, which is good, because it was obviously some of the stuff I'm in is more volatile, some of the digital currencies and that kind of stuff, and that's it's nice to see. That's for sure. It's in the single digit red right now. So I'm happy about that for sure. And I think we're going to have optimistic, having a good year, carry on, dollar cost average, putting down into what I'm buying this year mostly, and carrying forward. So just goes to show sticking to it and not panicking, selling out of your, if we had everybody kind of sold everything and panicked, it would have been in a worse position than now, because you don't catch those rises as we've been seeing, which is good. And my portfolio's been really saved by making that trade into Tesla and into Tesla yield in particular. That is doing well. Selling off, I should have. Hindsight, right, is always 20/20. I should have sold off all my RioCan and bought Tesla yield. But again, happy with what I did, and it's doing quite well so far. I'm actually debating whether to kind of take a little bit of profit off the take some money and run, basically, is the best way to describe that, and put it into maybe the S&P or VDY. That's kind of what I'm debating. But I think Tesla still has some room to go for there. So I think that will be good. That was an interesting stock. And on that note, with that stock, we'll get through the hellos here again though. But Best Weirdo back. Hey, Scoot. Morning. Good morning. And Nadia, good morning. Hopefully you're doing well. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. And Trevor's just letting Paul know. So Trevor got TD, Manulife Financial, Air Canada, and Fortis. There we go. FTS. Awesome. That's great. I think Air Canada, Trevor, is doing pretty good lately from what I've kind of been watching it. I'm going to assume if you bought it in 2020, it was probably around, it was down to, I think, about $16, $17 at some point. I don't know what it was back then when you first got it, but if you've hung on to it, I think it looks to be looking good, actually. It'll be interesting to see. I think they have earnings coming up this month sometime towards the end of the month. So we'll have to see how that goes. it's always interesting to see what people are buying or how they started out. And I guess on that note of starting out, that's kind of takes us actually perfectly to our first news article. So Trevor got 15. I'm going to say 15. $15 when you got it. Okay, that's where it comes through. Sorry, the chat is always kind of delayed when I see it come through and what I'm talking about. I know there's always YouTube puts a live delay, so if I seem clueless, sometimes I might ask for more info because it sometimes just doesn't compute by the time it comes from you to me and back out. $15. There you go. So you're doing well. I think it's up to 20 more. I could look on. I have the. Our watch list up at $22, $23 almost. I think it's been up to just over 23, so that's good. Hang on to that one, see what happens. That was kind of that, reopening play, much like Cineplex that I had. I think a lot of people had kind of these reopening things with the plans, and Air Canada finally seems to be, working from that time. On our first note, keep firing though in the comments what your first purchase was. But this kind of takes it back to first, talking about first purchases and that kind of stuff. Was here we go. We'll share our screen. Retail investors, that's us, taking risk off the table amid move into high quality stocks. And I think I can say personally that that's what one thing that I've done. I still have some definitely some riskier holdings in my portfolio, but that's a small portion of it in the big picture, and not just TFSA, but all RSP, that kind of stuff that I don't have riskier stuff into. But basically what they're saying, this is from the TMX CEO, so head of the stock exchange. They're seeing a shift from retail investors, changing the sentiment, taking risk off the table, and shifting their focus into higher quality stocks. I think that is a fair assessment. That speaks to me. Basically, taking a lot of out of a lot of maybe more riskier growth stocks into a lot of the more consistent dividend players. One thing is me, VDY making a purchase, and then also obviously the S&P building up that instead of taking bites and gambles at smaller cap stuff. So let me know in the comments if that's what your direction is going as well too. I guess some could say probably like getting into Tesla and stuff is a bit more risky too. But retail investors taking risk off the table. And Paul, I don't think it came through, Paul. So let us know some of your first ones. If it comes through. Sometimes I think comments get cut off. And there we go, Suncor. You went back and looked. This is what the price is. Suncor, $22.19. Pizza at $7.29. EIF at $16.23. Canadian CNR at $19. There you go. That's awesome. I think you did. Hopefully you did quite well. What is CNR? I know is a popular one. I know Candace has that one. If you bought that at $19, it's up to $158. So you've done well. You've done well on that one. That's for sure. At least get one good one out of the way. I won't look at them all. I think Suncor did well as well with the oil up this past year. Good call. It just kind of shows patience. That's what I have to learn. You want things to move faster. So, you have to remember that to be patient, and I'm guilty for that because you look at your portfolio, and I think guilty of looking at my portfolio too much, partly because I think I run this channel, so you're kind of looking at stuff more than maybe the average person. But that's the problem with everything on a phone and an app now. You just kind of click on and you're looking at things too often. That can be, and you want things to move forward. So you're thinking, should I sell it? Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's like, nope, just stick with the plan. So that's no good. Oh, I sold at 30. Well, but this is the thing, hindsight, right? I mean, obviously, if you bought at 19 and you sold at 30, you still made money, and there's nothing wrong with making money. And it's hindsight 2020. There's things that I sold early that I should have hung on to, or there's things that I should have sold sooner and lost more money. So I think there's nothing wrong. Don't ever beat yourself up about taking money and taking the money and run. I don't think it's a bad thing. So, and hopefully you're able to put it into something else that is still kind of appreciated. So, but that comes down, there we go. That comes down to patience. I mean, for me, I'm trying, everything basically is like a long-term hold. So, I got to be patient and kind of keep that out. And if there's opportunities, like one of the examples was I saw that with the Tesla, with Tesla, that I bought the Tesla yield, I took that opportunity. I wasn't planning on selling RioCan, but didn't have extra cash to put in to want to buy it. So took an opportunity and it worked out, but they don't always work out. And hopefully you were able to, use that money somewhere else if you need it. And Robert Cosley, great to hear your sonorous voice this morning. Thank you. It's like a calming radio to get started in the day. We'll have to see. Good call, MC. I will read the rest of your comment as well because it gets kind of cut off. But I think calling into a broker to buy and we talked about this yesterday. We talked about having the old days, right? Having to call in, buy and sell, pay fees to sell. Obviously, it does have upsides. Most likely, better investor behavior. Over tampering with a portfolio can be bad, and easy access can lead to that. It is very true because you see things, everything is so instant now, right? And we see things on, we log in, whatever you're using, Wealthsimple or whatever platform you're using. You log in, you see the changes, and then you see other shares that are going, and it makes you second guess a lot. It makes you want to possibly jump on something and, jump on with FOMO, to something else which isn't necessarily with your plan. So that's the biggest thing, I think, is be diligent. And, we see days where, it's everything's jumping up like crazy and you're like, oh, I should have bought more. And you kick yourself, but you think, no, okay, just going to stick with the plan, do what I plan to put in and stick with it. That's the hardest part. That is really the hardest part. Number one is sometimes picking, the ETFs or whatever you're wanting to invest in. That's difficult. You learn along the way, but another hard part is definitely sticking with your plan and keeping keeping that in place and not second guessing yourself, and not tampering is the big thing. Not tampering with what you're building, because you eventually if you leave things as they are, you'll start to see the rewards. And like today was, it was a good dividend day. So the purpose ETFs paid dividends for me. RioCan paid dividends. So you start seeing like 5 or 6 dividends come in. And you think, okay, this is working. This is what I'm doing. And those are the reassurings when you start to see those those extra little amounts hit your account. It reassures you that you're on the right track. And that's the truth. I remember, this is going to date me, but so a very long time ago, yeah, you didn't have access. You would have to look at the newspaper, or the newspaper would come out at nighttime, right? I remember when it didn't get published even in the morning. This is how dated I am. Used to get it was the Vancouver Sun. My dad would get delivered and it would come every night, and he'd read the paper at night, and it was the news of the day. And I remember in school, I forget what grade it was. It was in high school, but we had to pick because they used to have the stock quotes in the newspaper, and we had to pick as part of it was business, whatever course it was, business education or whatever that course was. I can't remember, but we had to pick a stock and we followed it and kind of did pretend trading based on the prices, and the prices in the paper were the closing prices. It was crazy. I think I invested in some kind of, it was a mine. It was, and I can't even remember. Sorry, I do remember what it was. It was, I can actually pull it up. I wonder if it has even the max. It doesn't even go back that far, I think, in the chart, but it was it was 16 cents or something at the time. And it was, today it's up to Seiko Mines is up to $2.24. So had I bought some back in grade 9 or 10, I would have maybe made some money. But it was a fun kind of exercise. But it's just interesting to see how things have have changed for, with technology for sure. There was a TV channel with scrolling tickers. Yeah, you just watch the things kind of scroll, and they still do it, I think, on the news sometimes too. When they have the business news on, they have the ticker going, but nothing but a black. Oh, so it was just a TV channel with stock quotes. I don't remember that growing up, but. And so the big dividend day is the 10th for Dank Magic. That's awesome. What ones do you have coming through on the 10th? Let us know in the comments. Yeah, I had today, for me, it was BTC.Y. I have a bit of that. I have a bit of PSA in my TFSA. PSA in the TFSA, that rhymes. I got dividend for that. RioCan and Tesla yield. I think there was another one, but no, maybe that's it. Maybe it was 4. Let me just double check. I had, RioCan, PSA, BTC.Y, and Tesla yield. That was right. So 4 of them came in today. It was nice. It was a good one too. It was like, the Tesla yield was amazing. About almost $10, and then I think it was all told about $22, if I think correctly. So I just kind of rolled them back in, basically. For those ones, you'll see it. I'll post it on my community tab later, but I bought a couple, used the dividends for BTC.Y to buy more BTC.Y. And then I used the rest. I did buy some, it was the price. I still want to kind of add to this is I bought BTC.Y, and then I bought Slate Office REIT because I was able to add to that one. I didn't get a dividend from that, but I added couple shares of that one, and then I bought. I put the rest. There's kind of always that leftover amount into VFE as a fractional share. So sneak peek on the live stream. I haven't posted that on the community tab yet, but I will. And yeah, patience. The greatest skill is investing. I think it is. I really do think it is. And it's because we're so connected to everything now, MC, right? And we see, and this is the problem, right? You see companies and shares. It's such a volatile time. Is you'll see something like Facebook, Meta, like jump 20% in a day, or or Tesla, or whatever, and it's hard to not want to. It's hard to take a pause, be patient, and not jump on and try and chase those things, right? The smarter thing to do would obviously be being patient. If you wanted to invest in, for example, Meta, is just have your investment slowly dollar cost average into it as you're able to, and as a plan, and then when that ultimately possibly happens, you get those big jumps. You have taken advantage of that without chasing it, right? And that's the thing, because as we know, you get those 15% ups, and as we're seeing, it can be quite easy on certain shares to get those 15% downs pretty quickly, and we saw that over the past year. One bad earnings that people, investors don't like, or a bad outlook, or layoffs, or whatever, and it's like can go down just as quickly. That's partly why, for me, the majority of my portfolio is in the 2 ETFs, right? VDY and VFE. They don't have the same volatility, right? Because they're diversified more. So that kind of takes some of the, you're not going to get VFE is not going to go up 15% in a day, but or in an hour, as MC says, but it takes that volatility out a little bit, and hopefully gets that steady gain instead of rockets up and down. But on that note, perfect segue, MC, to the link you shared, and I will again, if anybody wants these links from MC that I'm sharing in the stream, shoot me an email. You can find my email in the about page. I'll happily just let me know if you want this. Send me that link, and I will send you the link. They're great to kind of share. So MC shared yesterday the Fear and Greed Index. So this kind of breaks down some of the volatility in the market, how the market is feeling. So kind of a neat. I've seen this before on Twitter, not for the general market, but like there's a Bitcoin fear and index. There's a fear and index probably for every cryptocurrency out there. So I have seen the Bitcoin one. So greedy people are greedy right now. People are greedy. So what does what does Warren Buffett say? Buy when people are fearful, and not when people are greedy. That does kind of make perfect sense, and it kind of comes into this as like, boring. Sometimes boring is good. It's funny you say that. Some of the best, kind of what's been the best performers in my portfolio, looking at it, is some of the I would possibly be considered a bit boring. One I would never have thought to buy unless it was recommended by and voted kind of by the channel was Diversified Royalty Corp. It's kind of like, doesn't make big move, it doesn't have these big moves up and down, but it pays a decent dividend, and I've made a decent return on it so far for when I bought it. So happy with that. It seems to be, it's not a crazy volatile stock. So boring is good. Yeah, boring is good. I guess maybe in the comments we've talked about a few kind of boring stock. We've talked about a few somewhat boring. Boring is maybe the wrong word, but we'll use it. Kind of boring stocks we talked about before a few weeks ago was Rogers Sugar is one of the ones. It's this kind of a consistent dividend payer, and it doesn't, it does what it does, and then the price is relatively level, and it's just a consistent payer. So that's kind of one that would come up on the radar for me as kind of a boring stock, but a lot of people I do know have it. And the best boring companies out there are BYD and YCN. I got to look. I'm gonna have to apologize because I have to actually look these ones up. BYD. I'm gonna assume it's the Canadian one. Boyd Group Services. I can share this, MC. BYD, so it's auto body repair shop company, and WCN is a garbage pickup. There we go. Okay, obviously not. Let's start what I'm going to do? I'm going to add this. I'm going to start a boring, we'll call them boring companies on a watch list so we can kind of see. That's good. We'll add this. I'm going to add this to, boring companies. Take it off our watch list, and we'll add it to boring companies, so we can always come back and check in on our boring companies. And so WCN, Waste Connections. Okay, I have heard of that one. And there we go. So we'll add those. If anybody else has any boring companies, we will add them to the list. It's always kind of interesting to see what people are, their suggestions. I wouldn't say necessarily recommendations, but suggestions to check out, right? So BYD is the best TSX performing stock in the last 10 to 12 years, not including penny stocks. Oh, interesting. Let's see how far I can pull this up, MC, on there for the all-time max. There we go. So if you would have, like you called it there, last 10 to 12 years. So 2010, it was just over $20, 23. Let's go January, roughly $23 ish, $23.40, $23.90. There you go, $179, and so you would have been up. Over 1,000% had you bought this back in 2010. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? There you go. And it's 100 baggers since 2008. There we go. People need to remove their garbage. Good one. Good. That would be, and that would probably be, I'm sure the people that owned it probably were like, this isn't doing any, it's just kind of like, it's just kind of, so it went from $2 probably back before in 2008. People probably had that and were like, this isn't doing anything. And then if you had just sat on it and waited, you would have been, there we go. And Chris bought Superior Propane, one of the first stocks I bought. Let's, I'm going to pull that one up too, Chris. When did you buy it? That's a good question. Superior Propane. I wonder what the, I'm going to assume it's Superior Plus Corp. I'm going to assume. If that's the right, ticker. Sometimes it's hard to find the tickers. But I think that's what you won. I think that's the one you mean. Let's add that one. Got it 5 years ago. There we go. Yeah, it'll be good to look back at some of the ones, some of the ones that I've got, well, everybody's got in their portfolios, and because my portfolio is very young, right? It's not even 2 years old. It'll be 2 years old in April, so it'll be nice to kind of look back on some of these and be able to look back and go, I bought this 5 years ago, and this is what the price. We'll be all looking kind of back and going, this is what the price was, and hopefully there's something. Yeah, I noticed that about Superior. What the dividend yield is about 7.3%. Something to keep an eye on. There we go. That could almost be put over into the maybe not the boring companies, but just kind of the general stock. This is where these live streams I find are great to connect with people, because it gives some good suggestions. Not obviously, we're not saying for anybody to go out and buy these and put all their money into one thing, or go, that they're going to go to. We're not saying they're going to go to the moon or anything, but I think it's a good starting off point in terms of getting some, because that's one of the hardest part. Patience is hard, but also deciding what to invest in. It's nice to sometimes have some suggestions, because if you're just looking at news headlines, and you might be steered in the wrong direction, because that's the whole idea of news headlines is to get eyeballs and clicks, and it might not be the best investment for you. So it's nice to talk to actual investors and people that have the same kind of convictions and same minds are working the same as your own to be able to pass on some suggestions to different shares and stocks, ETFs, that kind of thing. So it's a good starting off point for me. It's a good starting off point to kind of go, okay, this is on my list. This is kind of things I'm going to kind of check out a bit more. Might be helpful to possibly invest in it, or at least learn about it maybe a little bit more and see. And in that journey, I find sometimes too, is you start. This has worked with especially with ETFs and stuff like that. You'll see one, you'll look at the company, but then you'll see related things, and there might be something more in tune for what I'm looking for, or you're looking for. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? You might see you found some, but again, this is the hard part, because but again, there's nothing wrong with taking things. It's patience, right? But there's also nothing wrong that I've learned. There's nothing wrong with taking profits off the table. But the hard part definitely is to find them, number one, and holding them is probably even harder, because if price goes up, you want to take your money and run, and you don't want to hang on to. Sometimes some people don't want to hang on to things for too long either, right? Just for whatever reasons. Nothing wrong with taking money, I don't think, off the table. It just sometimes there's those ones that I think that if you take it, you almost have to not look at it anymore sometimes, just depending what it was. But it's happened to a lot of it's happened to a lot of investors, like people even looking back at Amazon, right? Apple, a lot of those are had volatile time, bad times. So so Chad, so yours was you did it at so you bought Tesla at there you go. First stock was Tesla at $95. That's not bad. And that was probably, I don't know if that was okay. So DIY investor for 13 months now. Awesome. What do What do you use Wealthsimple, Chad? Most people, I mean, a lot of people I know that are watching the channel are Wealthsimple because that's kind of what my channel's. I use Wealthsimple, but let me know if you don't use that. I know Candace uses Wealthsimple, but she uses She uses National Bank, I think, for her day trade stuff. But everybody's kind of different. Down 10%. So you're kind of around the same as me. I'm not down 10% on Tesla, but my portfolio is down it's under 10% down right now still. And use Wealthsimple, no fees. That's kind of why I got into it too. No fees. And they charge you a fee on the invest side, but it's very minimal compared to a lot of other places, especially the other one that I was in. So my fees have gone down substantially, which means it can go back into my investing. Yeah, I saw that this morning, MC. And this is again woulda, shoulda, woulda, wish. But the thing with my BAM is I only do a purchase once a month because that's part of that StreamYard thing, the StreamYard challenge I'm doing. It's paying off. Yeah, the results came out pretty decent. I think it's doing quite well today. That one I'll just dollar cost average continuing every month. That's my goal first of the month, just to kind of see where that goes. But that's been good so far. I still have BN. So, because it had that split off, right? As people know, it split into BN, Brookfield Corp, and then Brookfield Asset Management, BAM. So when they did the stock split, the first 2 months I was buying BAM, and then it split, and then I did the investment. I split it because I wasn't sure what direction they were going to go, where what was going to happen. That I made the decision to just put it into. So the first of this month, 1st of February, I just put it into BAM, and that's what I'll continue going, and I'll do that once a month. Yeah, so they're looking good. Yeah. And so, Chad, you started a day trader and lots of buy and sell. So any other platform didn't make sense. Oh, for paying the fees. Although I think National Bank has no fees, if I'm not mistaken. Candace uses National Bank I don't know if Candace is watching, but she can tune in. I'm pretty sure I can say that she uses National Bank as her day trade account for whatever reason. I'm gonna guess the interfaces probably makes more sense for day trading than maybe Wealthsimple's. I mean, Wealthsimple is very simple. I don't day trade, so I wouldn't even know what would be better or not. But I have a feeling Wealthsimple is probably not the greatest. They do have live quotes if you click them now. I know that they didn't have live quotes when it first came out. The quotes were all delayed, and then they added it to their paid thing. But now it's included, I guess, across the board if you click that little live price button. So I guess if you're day trading, it kind of makes sense. But and they do have fractional shares, which is handy. That's nice to have. They didn't at the start when I started, so it was sometimes hard to get into these other companies, but they started to do that, which was nice. It makes investing so much easier to buy, be able to go into a fractional share. That's for sure, especially if you're just starting off with little amount. I mean, but this is the thing. Even if you're putting $10, $10 a weekend or whatever, if you can get a fractional share, if you add that up over time, right? Time's our friend, and it will pay off. So those fractional shares are nice, especially if it's nice to be able to just if you're wanting to reinvest your dividends back into the shares. If you haven't, if you're not having a big deposit to be able to put in to buy new ones, full shares, I don't get enough dividends from Tesla. I don't get enough dividends from a lot of them, right? VDY is not enough for a full share. That's an ETF, but and then VFE, RioCan as well, Telus. I'm not there yet, so it's kind of nice to be able to just roll in the fractional shares along the way. So I'm happy with I've been happy with Wealthsimple. It suits my needs very, very fine for that. I'm not paid by them or anything to shield them, but it works. And it got me looking back 2 years, like it got me kind of into investing. So had I not used a simple platform, like Wealthsimple, I wouldn't have my I probably wouldn't have a TFSA. I don't know what I'd be doing, so. Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah, we were talking about dividends earlier a little bit, Chad. good dividend day for me. I think a couple people have dividends coming up the next couple days, but yeah, it was good. It was nice to see. So it's the best time of when the month comes up and you get those email notices kind of start popping up at nighttime. You check your email and it's like, oh, I got some money in my account, which is good. All right, let's see what else we had on the news here. This will be interesting. Hold on, let's pop this up as we always seem to talk about rates and Bank of Canada. So I'm not sure what time this comes out. The article didn't say, but the Bank of Canada is actually going to be releasing their minutes from the past meeting, and it's the first time I guess they've done it ever. It'll be coming out today. I'm going to assume it's probably out by now because it's past 9 o'clock on the eastern side. I might have to dig into a little bit more on kind of what their minutes kind of going. It's basically they're getting lots of opposition, right? Bank of Canada from conservative and. They obviously really the article here is mentioning misguiding inflation, but also, if you look back to the Bank of Canada, a year ago, they were saying, or 20, what year was it when TIF came out and basically said, we see rates low for a long time, and people, of course, pile on debt, and then, of course, as we all know, rates up. So they're going to be releasing the minutes of this. That will kind of show how they kind of came to these decisions, being a bit more, I guess, transparent in their rate decisions, which will be interesting to see. It doesn't say the time, but I will do some digging, and hopefully we can possibly talk about that maybe a little bit tomorrow. If there's anything kind of interesting tidbits in there, maybe we can pull that up and talk about that when I have time to after I have time to read that when it comes out, which is always kind of interesting, something that they've never done, and they've almost kind of come out and said we're pausing. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the rationale and everything else, a bit more transparency from that, which I think is probably a good thing. And the last bit of news, and I always try and have some good news, but this one popped up, and partly because we do live streams, and I do a lot of Zoom meetings for work. Not a lot, but a fair amount. At least consistently at least one or two are scheduled every week, and then sometimes there's other ones to jump onto. But Zoom video is cutting 1,300 jobs, 15% of its workforce. So it's the whole Zoom went crazy right back in 2020 with everybody working from home. But I guess more people now, obviously. It's adapting to slower growth, I guess, going forward. So cutting, we've seen a lot of layoffs with tech. There seems to be I shouldn't say no tech company, but a lot of them have been impacted by layoffs and restructuring in the tech industry. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. I don't know. We've mentioned it before. I mean, I work from home, but I've worked from home for years, and obviously the last couple of years was nothing different for me. If anything, it was better because it was just more people didn't have to, where we switched office meetings and stuff to Zoom and weekly meetings to Zoom. It seems to work better because then I don't have to drive, go to the office for a one an hour or whatever meeting every week. But I just wonder if the chat is still working, mostly from home, or what's the consensus out there? It's always weird because I'm kind of in a little bubble at home because I've been working at home for so long. It's always to see what other companies and other places are doing. So let us know in the comments. It's always kind of interesting to hear what's up with that. All right, and that is all the news that I had. So this is the time where we're over. This one went fast. Got lots of rambling done today. Lots of comments coming through. Always appreciate it. If you haven't yet, we'll say it. This is the time. If hit the like button. Do all that YouTube stuff. If you haven't already on the stream, helps it get out. Do appreciate everybody that does watch though. It's great. I love these comments coming in. It kind of there's always something new to learn, new link, new comment, new share, new ETF, something like that. It's definitely really appreciated. Love, and it's a good start it's a good start to my day to kind of come in here and get chatting for a little bit, and it gives me a good perk up for the morning. Have coffee, and it's enjoyable. And we have seem to always have kind of more people joining. So if you are watching for the first time, it's always don't be scared. At least say hi. There's a good group of people here subscribed. If you subscribe, you can chat, and that's how we could do kind of work it. If you're not subscribed, you do need to be subscribed to the chat to be able to kind of chat away. With Coffee Crew, we won't. No question is a dumb question. That's for sure. No comment is a dumb comment, and we'll always try and help everybody out. I think we definitely have a really good. We definitely have a really good community that I think is being built on YouTube. I don't get very many spam bad comments, but I guess Candace is tuning off. I'm still going, Candace, but have a great rest of the day. Hopefully your day is well. Happy trading. Hopefully it does well for you. I know you sometimes get your head down into the day trade, so it's always appreciated when you're tuning in, and appreciate all your views. And your ChatGPT jokes get us started in the morning. That's always appreciated, Candace. So have a great day. And MC, not sure if anybody's watching, but Google is under selling pressure. Yeah, I saw that earlier today. I can pull up Google and to see what's happening. I haven't looked in it that closely. Let's see here. Not that we're a chart watching channel by any means, but let's pull this up. Sorry, I just had to bear with me here. Yeah, it is down quite. Let me pull. Oh, okay. I'm still in the background. Okay, there we go. All good. We'll keep going. It's always nice when I don't have. I can look over Candace out of the corner of my eye because I have my tab open for email. And if I have emails start to always kind of come around this time. It seems. Workday starts at 9, but nothing in the inbox, so that's a good sign. Well, I guess you want emails because you have to work on stuff, but nothing there yet. Sorry, let me pull up Google. Yeah, down today. There's the whole. We'll have to see what happens when they get barred out. on Google, but have to watch that. How is as we get back into that? Let's see if Tesla how Tesla is doing. Yeah, there we go. Always on. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Google, MC. All right. Well, there we go. That is almost the end of the time. Just want to, again, like I said, thank you. I had again with a few of the comments from people. Candace, if you're listening, we have to get you back on one of the weekends. There's been some. I know 8:00 sometimes that people can't make it, so I didn't promise you would come, but I've kind of said some of the live streams will try and get on one of the Saturdays because I know some people can't make it live. They kind of want to make it live, so I'm going to be scheduling. I'll figure it out when it will go on when I do have some time on the weekends. But we'll have a bit of a live stream. I think one of the weekends, just some different times. And if anybody, this is the thing with live streams. There's been some kind of a few comments sometimes of maybe jumping on later in the morning. So Candace is good for. We'll figure this out, Candace. We'll figure out. We don't have to necessarily have a topic. We can just get on and chat and see where it goes. But I do want to kind of. There's been some comments going on because obviously I know 8:00. Like people have things going on. There's no perfect time to schedule a live stream. It has to work for me mostly. That's why it's 8:00 when I do it, because it's selfish and it works for me. But I know there's some people that can't join live. But so what I might kind of do is put a little poll up on the community tab if there's a time that maybe once or twice a week, if I can get it scheduled in my work schedule to kind of be able to jump on. If there's interest in that, that might be kind of fun to kind of see, because I know obviously when we're not like necessarily trading all throughout the day or anything like that. But if sometimes there might be some interesting news that kind of comes across, as after the market is closed. So if there's interest in that, obviously put a thumbs up in the chat if you're listening. But if I will also kind of post on the community tab later on, I'll get kind of a post up to see if there's some interest with people kind of joining. I think the thing with live is it pops up, and I think if people are on YouTube, it will show them, and if they're around, they'll come and join on. But we'll have to see if that kind of carries on, because it's kind of fun to do these. It's kind of it's easier than filming a video and having to edit a video and put all that together. Not to say I'm lazy, but sometimes you just don't always have time to start to edit and get it all going. You're just like, but so it might be fun to kind of jump on and do a live stream instead of that. But we'll see how that goes. That is all, everybody. It's coming up to 9 o'clock. We're past our 8:45 deadline. So thanks again for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, don't forget, hit the like button on your way out. Always appreciate everybody tuning in. Coffee Crews here, the regulars. I do appreciate it. For the new viewers that are watching, thank you. And if you are brand new to the channel, check out some of the old videos. Lots of content on there, lots of portfolio updates. And that is all, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock a.m. I will put tomorrow's scheduled live stream up on the channel a bit later on. And I promise I will get a portfolio update video filmed at some point today and get that up on the channel as well, so you can check that out. Hopefully we continue on to have a decent day today. It's always nice to do those updates when there's a bit of green in the portfolio as opposed to red. But we'll have to see how that